Hello, brothers. It is your brother D.R. Perry coming at you live on a new thing I'm going to call Marked Man Mondays. Hello, how you guys doing? Happy Monday. I hope everybody's 4th was epic. Mine was. It just happened to be my birthday. And so first of all, I want to say thank you for all of the well wishers that hit me up and dropped. I had some beautiful, beautiful words, man. I mean, I'm so not worthy. Some brothers really blessed me. Sorry about adjusting the camera there. Some brothers really just chimed in and showed up and really blessed me with some, you know, I can be rough and gruff on the outside, but when it comes to when brothers tell you what they think about you while you're still here, man, that's gold. And so I just want to say thank you for all those who wished me a very happy birthday. The 4th was great. I know that we're in the midst of this pandemic still, and we're not able to really interact like we normally would. Hey, Rich, thank you so much. I did have a great birthday, man. I wish you could have came up, man. We had a good time. I wish you can come up, Richie. But it was great, man. Had the family over. We played some cornhole. That's a new one for me. We used to call it beanbag toss, but it's cornhole. And it's funny because right afterwards, the next day, my wife and I were watching ESPN, and there's actual professional cornhole league, the ACL, and it says so on the cornhole that she bought. But man, that thing was addictive, and I found myself out there practicing yesterday. And so, man, I even though it was my birthday, I cooked. I threw some stuff on the grill, and hopefully we can get Dan Arts to join me live. If you're watching, Dan, inbox me. I'd like to talk to you. Okay, great. Well, I'll be waiting, son. That's one of my sons that I did not birth. Old Richie. He's a Perry by association, and so I love that brother. But yeah, even though it was my birthday, I cooked. I threw some stuff on the grill. I cannot touch the hem of Dan Art's garment, and so hopefully before the summer's out, while we still have a lot of summer left, I can get Dan, who's here in the group on Mark Band. Dan and I grew up together, but he is an actual pit master, and hopefully he can come in and bless us with some tips around the grill, because I'm telling you, man, a brother who can cook, sisters be jelly, okay? Wifey eats well. She can cook too, but I'm telling you, man, something about it, that's brownie points when a brother can put something together and it tastes like something. But anyway, this is a new segment that I'm going to be experimenting with. Tell me what you think. We're going to start really hitting you with the guys with a lot of content. You're going to have me on Mondays and possibly Wednesdays, but you're definitely going to be having Billy Clement, who's one of the administrators here on the Mark Man on Facebook, and he's gonna be coming at you Wednesdays with wealth building tips, and then we're gonna nail down my son, who's an exceptional personal trainer whose business is growing by leaps and bounds, from entity that I built and that he has taken to heights that I did not imagine were possible. My thinking was limited when I started Forge, but my son has really expanded that vision and built upon it, and that's really what it's all about. And so hopefully we're gonna get him here regularly on Fridays with Forge Fit Fridays, okay, with some tips of varying length. We're not going to be here for you long. I know everybody's busy. Even though we are in the pandemic, hopefully you brothers are keeping very busy and very purposeful. I know that some of us have had an interesting shift in our work environments, and for people like me, that's not that odd. Well, you think it'd be odd since I'm a cop, but most of my personal ventures, my attempts happen here in my studio. All right. And don't get used to seeing this, guys. I'm resetting up the podcast room, and I'm trying to get some more equipment so I can bring you guys high quality live content there. But right now the setup is right here in my art studio that it has the most juice. And so I'm trying to give you guys a really quality experience whenever we go live. I don't want to shortchange you because I know that you guys could be diverting your attention anyplace else. but you're here, and hopefully you're here on purpose. This is a place for men that are on purpose. Okay, and so briefly, I want to share with you the vision of the Marked Man, where we're going, what we have planned. Share with you some personal things. That's actually what Marked Man Mondays is going to be about. Me just sharing some tips and some thoughts, right, and some things that I'm reading. But first of all, if you're new here, I want you all to know that the Marked Man is really about men helping men be better men, as the tagline denotes, right? It's not, it was never intended for me to have a platform for self-glorification purposes. You know, I have other platforms that I am the sole or even partner with, like with my wife on Marriage Impossible, but where I have to be front and center. This is not the case here at the Marked Man. Here I want to be more of a facilitator, right? And hopefully help you as you help me, right, navigate this journey called manhood. Now, granted, keep in mind that everything we do here, though we're going to be covering a wide array of topics and subjects, right, that all pertain to self-improvement as it pertains to being a man, right? Everything that we do here is filtered through a lens of faith. Now listen, this is not, you're not going to get Christian bashed, okay? We're not going to be putting you guys on guilt trips. I'm not going to be doing altar calls here at the Marked Man. None of that, okay? But just know that when we're speaking and when I'm giving you information, it may be stuff that you may regularly associate with, like the law of attraction. But, you know, I love God, and everything I do here is going to be filtered through that lens. And if you find it offensive, I don't know what to say. You know, maybe go explore other options. But I do know that in my journey, I found it very beneficial, right, to be receptive to information from all sources. Some of my closest friends are Muslims, right? Some of my closest friends don't believe the same things that I believe, but they have contributed greatly in my life. And the information, I don't care if it came from the Quran, the Talmud, you know, I have Jewish brothers. It doesn't matter where it's coming. Good information is consistent, right? It's consistent. And that's what we're going to be giving you here. Good information. My personal lens, though, is through that of the lens of faith. Now, even many of the guests that I'm going to have here on the Marked Man and in our podcast, they may not necessarily believe what I believe, but guess what? That's not a prerequisite for being an excellent man. I think it's a bonus, but it's not a requirement for you to be featured here on the Marked Man, okay? Just know that. But I just want you guys to know what I believe, where I stand. I'm not going to attack anybody else's belief systems. That's not what this is about. This is not apologetics. I'm not going to be spouting a bunch of theology here, but you may hear some biblical references, right? Or you may hear something that I've read and I attach it to something that was written 3,000 years ago in the Bible. Because believe it or not, there is nothing new under the sun. And so just know you're going to be getting fitness tips, finance tips, husband hacking, I like to call it, fathering tips. You know, I may not, some consider me an expert because I've had 4 kids that are all very successful and productive, you know, and despite being young. But I don't consider myself an expert because I still father every day. It just looks different now that my children are older, right? But we're going to have other brothers that are a lot further along in their fathering journey. Me, I'm in grandfather stage now. I have 4 grandkids, right? But I am a fan of bringing in people that know more than me. Just know that. This is not a D.R. Perry coming at you trying to show you everything that he knows, right? Though I am forever the student, there's a saying that goes, every master knows that he must forever be a student. And even though I don't consider myself a master, I do know that I'm forever a student, right? And so I like to read. You've heard me say before, I like to get through 4 books a month. I'll be giving you guys my reading pacing, how I pace myself through that. Even though right now I'm only going to probably make it through this next month with 3 books, maybe, only because one book that I'm reading is twice as long as most books that I typically read, and so I think that counts as 2, right? But even though it's in one volume, it's like this thick, right? And so I'm going to double count that, right? Because of the information. It's in really fine print, you know, so that counts as 2.5 books to me. But I'm going to be sharing with you all the things that I'm doing in my journey to be a better man. And that's really what the Marked Man is all about. That's it. That's all it's all about. It's about being better at what we do as men. Being better in the workplace, and being better with our wives. Shoot, being better in the bedroom, being better in the gym. Oftentimes, being better in the gym makes you better in the bedroom, right? Being a better friend, a better brother, being better with your finances, right? Being better with your interpersonal relationships, being better in your business goals, right? I know a lot of guys here know me because of my entrepreneurial pursuits. Now, granted, I'm not killing the game yet, but as of late, those that are closest to me have attested, and they've seen that the gears are moving now. After years of learning and trying to perfect and learning different systems necessary for being a solo entrepreneur, things are starting to move in an aggressively an aggressive uptick, right? That I'm very grateful for. But I'm still on a 9 to 5, like many of you. So you guys get to journey with me along that process as I start to phase out that part of my life where I'm fully in control, living what I define as a wealthy life, where I'm very time rich because all of my financial needs are met. Not necessarily bank account rich, but like for each of us, that number looks different. And so we'll go down that rabbit hole in the podcast. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the podcast live. We're going to be doing some live streams or some pre-recordings. We have a YouTube channel. We have an Instagram page, all at The Marked Man. And themarkedman.com, as you see, is on my lower third. I'm starting to fill that up. And so we're going to make this an entire experience. Hopefully you'll find it worthy to share with other brothers, right? But that's pretty much in a nutshell. If you look at the header of this, or the intro when it comes in, there's a little scripture that says Psalms 37:37, right? And that's my mantra scripture, right? That's kind of something that a goal that I set for my life, and it simply goes like this. It says, "Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace." And when I read that when I was a teenager, and I didn't know what perfect meant, but I had a general idea. I've come now later in my journey in faith to know that means spiritually mature and mature in all areas. And the Bible says, mark or behold that man. Look at that guy, right? Look at that perfect man. Find that guy, right? Watch what he does, because when he leaves here, when all is said and done, when his end comes, mark the perfect man and behold his uprightness, his righteousness, how he moves, right? And when he dies, when all is said and done, when the last chapter is closed on his life, the end of that man is peace, right? I want to live here peaceful. I want to leave here empty, completely empty. That every gift, every talent, that every effort was put in a positive direction, that left behind a legacy, right? That left behind a clean name, right? That someone else can pick it up and move forward and learn and grow as well. And so that's what this is about, The Marked Man. That's what it's totally about. And so, just wanted to give you that. I'm 13 minutes in. I'm not going to be before you long, but I wanted to give you guys a reading suggestion, right? This is one of the books that I'm really into performance. I'm in the stage of performance. I'm starting to shift. Your stages, they kind of cross over one another as you progress in your journey of becoming. Ideally, when you're very intentional, you're going to switch from fitness information to financial information to emotional IQ information, self-improvement, relationships, all of that. And my reading cycles kind of reflect that. And so as of late, I've really been interested and focused on performance and the science of it, and what separates those that are high performers from those that are just kind of towing the line. And what has gotten me interested in this, because I'm very keen, even though I don't really care what people think. That's not entirely accurate. I know many of us as men, we like to say, I don't care what people think. And my wife has heard me spout that anthem over the 27 years we've been together. But that's not entirely accurate. One of the things that you're going to get from me all the time is you're going to get a lot of truth and honesty from me. I'm never going to try to paint myself out as something that I'm not. Okay, if you follow me and my wife on our Marriage Impossible page, it used to be named Marriage faux real. It's because we had determined that we were going to give people the best that we got, but keep it 100 without being pretentious, right, or self-glorifying. And I think that has borne fruit in the modest success that we've had there. And I say modest because we have not been as diligent with it as we should, but that's changing too. And so this is a bleed over from that. So you're going to get that from me. So with that being said, I've really, when I hear people say I hear something so many times, and I caution you with this as well. If you hear something so many times, you might want to kind of reflect on it and see why are people associating this thought, this context to you. And so as of late, people have, it's been resonating in my circles, how much I get done. And I've been called a machine. I was called a Renaissance man. And it's funny because I asked my wife, what a Renaissance man was. And she didn't quite know either. And I said, look, I'm not humble bragging. I said, this is like the third or fourth time I've heard that phrase directed my way. And I never really gave it much thought. I knew it was a compliment, but I never really dove into it contextually. And so while we're in the car, I actually looked up what a Renaissance man was and read the definition of it. And I guess that does apply to a certain extent, but the reason is why, right? What makes someone versed in many areas? The insulting way of saying it is a jack of all trades, master of none. That's not true either when it comes to someone who's considered a Renaissance man. They're pretty competent in several areas and perpetually learning new things and acquiring new skills. And so that was kind of accurate. I think it's a little over generous, but it's like the fourth time I'd heard it. And so time number four, I'm like, okay, what does that really mean, right? And so that started really another train of thought about performance, right? What we're really talking about is performance. Why successful people achieve and seem to accomplish more than everyone else. And though I am definitely not in the realm what I would classify as holistically successful, I've been categorically successful in some things. But the table that I really want to sit at, I'm not worthy of yet. Okay, I don't have the track record. I'm trying to acquire those skills, those mindsets, right, that are really conducive to being a marked man. And that's the truth, And here's the funny thing. I hope that I never really reached there in my own eyes. I hope that other people see me that way. I think when I hear about that, when I read that scripture, Psalms 37:37, it is one of observation of somebody worthy of being emulated and imitated. And you don't get to control that. The audience, the viewer, gets to dictate whether you are worthy of imitation. And you may not have to be worthy in all areas. No one is. No one is. Some just are more competent and accomplished in more areas than most. And so my goal is that when I leave here and hopefully I'm in heaven, I look down, that what remains is that I was worthy in some areas of being imitated. And so that's what I want for you guys too. That's why I started this. This started as a text group of a bunch of brothers just trying to share information and resources to make one another better. That's how the Marked Man started. And so I'm trying to stay true to that. I want to keep it there. They kind of floundered a little bit because I had other things going on, and I was kind of counting on other brothers to kind of fill the void because it's supposed to be about mutual sharing. But I did come to realize that there had to be a banner bearer, for lack of a better term. And so since I made the suggestion to hang the bell around the cat's neck, then guess what? Guess who's got to go hang the bell around the cat's neck? You can't pass it off to somebody else. Can't pass the buck that way. And so anyway, when it comes to performance, I'm not going to get through all of these books in this sitting because my reading cycle is one of craftsmanship, my chosen craft, which is art, right, and animation and illustration, acquiring new skills, right, something that I didn't know how to do, whether it be social media marketing, whether it be multimedia, like creating, all these overlays and cameras and stuff like that. Something I just didn't know how to do. Right now I'm learning how to speak Spanish. And then self-improvement, and of course spiritual. Those are the 4 categories that I tend to read in, right? And so on the self-improvement side, I'm currently making it through a book, and we're going to be going over, I'm going to be sharing a lot of this stuff on the podcast, right? But this book is really, it's good. It's good. And it's called Peak Performance, if you can see that. Peak Performance by Steve Magnus and Brad Stulberg, right? Elevate your game, avoid burnout, and thrive with the new science of success. Even though I just got the physical book, saving this video and watching after my Zoom meeting. All right, thanks, Glenn. I appreciate it. Even though I have the book, it just came. I ordered it on Amazon. What I tend to do with many of my books, like in the 4 books I get through a month, 2 of those are usually audiobooks. Two of those are in the audio format, and that's usually something around self-improvement or faith, right? Because I can listen with those with some great intensity. But when it comes to craft, skill development and other things, I have to physically watch and read those. In business, I'm learning stock market and options trading. Just got some. I'll share those books later on another episode. But Peak Performance, this book is amazing. We're going to be addressing many of these the topics and stuff that I read, and we're going to dissect them ad nauseum in our podcast with Billy and Jordan and other guests. And so this is what I'm reading. Excellent. If your library is open, try to check it out. If not, start listening to the audiobook. And there's some really good information on how to pace yourself and still feel productive. Feel productive. The science, it has stories, the whole 9 yards. Check it out. The audiobook, I listen to my audiobooks oftentimes when I'm working out. I work out twice a day. My morning workout and then my evening cool down. And so I don't listen to music. I listen to my audiobooks. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, spiritual and mental, getting information. It's a practice. You gotta build up to it because you can get distracted early on. But as you move forward, my son Jordan is now adopting that practice. Nothing against music. I love music. Music is great so I listen to it when I go to sleep at night. It helps settle me. But when my energy is high, when my brain activity is high, first thing in the morning, that's when you really want to get information in because your retention is high. And so when you've got all that blood going, you're super oxygenated, right? You're breathing heavy and your brain is charged because of physical activity. That, to me, is the best time to take in audio information. I think it's wasted on music. I don't need to feel good if I'm focused on my workout. I need to work everything out at one time. And so that's my tip for today. This is my suggestion for the day, right? Peak Performance. Try to get the glare off because it's a foil cover, right? Great book. Check it out. I'm 25 minutes in. I know many of you are on your lunch break. Check out the replay. If you have other brothers who you think can benefit, because we are launching into full marked man mode during the pandemic, which, according to reports, we're going to be in it for a while. But no better time than to really better ourselves, use this time that we've been given wisely to up our game, brothers. And so I'm on purpose. Hopefully you're on purpose. Be safe. Enjoy one another. Love one another. Hit me if you got suggestions or ideas. I'm always willing to accept your suggestions of what you want to hear, what you want to know about. I know I've got another brother who just joined here, Andre from Indianapolis, this brother's garden is insane, okay? Insane. And I've never had any inclination of gardening. But when I see what he's able to do for his family, what he's able to teach his children, and it's a different level of provision and education, watching and nurturing something that actually grows from the ground. There's so much that can be learned from that. And I'm going to have Andre Pipkin, who's in here in our group. And, I don't have to go far. Trust me, in our podcast, I'm not going far for interviewees because we have some quality brothers here who have some great information to share. And so before we blow up, we're going to grow up from within. And so be on purpose, brothers. Be safe. I love you guys. Bless another brother. This is all about good men helping good men be better men. and you guys help me be better, and hopefully I can do the same for you. God bless.